Well, Ram Navami celebrations took place in Jodhpur yesterday, a procession of 325 tableaus, and among them was one that glorified a murderer, Shambhulal Regar, who killed a Muslim labourer in December last year and actually hacked him to death. He hacked him to death, then he made a video of that and how he killed him, and then gave a hate speech which he recorded on Love Jihad. He went on and had this huge rant. It's now been brought to the notice of the police that this tableau had been displayed in Jodhpur, and they say that they will investigate and take action.
A Ram Navami celebration in Jodhpur, where 325 tableaus celebrating gods and goddesses wound their way through the city on Sunday. But shockingly, part of these was one that glorified a murderer, Shambhulal Regar, and Love Jihad. Regar was the man who committed a hate crime in December last year, killing a Muslim labourer and recording the act on video. He also gave a speech on Love Jihad after the crime. This tableau was reportedly made at the behest of a Shiv Sena worker, who can be seen in saffron, standing next to the boy Suresh, who plays the role of Shambhulal. The rally was organised by the VHP.
शंभू रेगर का तो उस बेचारे का आज क्या कसूर है? आप उसको इन्वेस्टिगेशन होने से पहले, ट्रायल होने से पहले दोषी बता दोगे? कौन सा राष्ट्रद्रोह का अपराध किया इसने?
वो करने वाले मैडम हम भी नहीं होते हैं और आप भी नहीं होते हैं. वो करेगा कानून. कानून प्रक्रिया चल रही है, ट्रायल पे चल रहा है, जो फैसला आएगा हम उसको स्वीकार करेंगे.
The boy who played the role of Shambhulal, 30-year-old Suresh, says he did it for the money. He was probably chosen because he bears an uncanny resemblance to Regar.
अपन किसी के साथ में अपन मजदूर आदमी मजदूरी करके खाते हैं.
आपको इसके लिए पैसे मिले थे?
हाँ, 500 रुपए मिले थे.
But his statements now clearly different from what he said after taking part in the procession on Sunday.
शंभुनाथ रेगर एक हिंदू है इसलिए बना. शंभुनाथ एक जो झगड़ा किया था वो हिंदुओं के लिए किया था. वो अपराधी नहीं है. वो अपराधी तो अभी कोर्ट ने भी फैसला नहीं किया तो वो अपराधी कैसे होगा?
The Jodhpur administration has said they are inquiring into the matter and will take action. The police charge sheet in the case against Shambhulal had clearly nailed his lies on Love Jihad and had in fact revealed a sordid tale of illicit relations that Shambhulal was in as a motive for the crime. He used Love Jihad as a pretext to mask his real intention, say the Rajasthan police. Posters like these still dot Jodhpur city. Ram Navami celebration here was a procession with 325 tableaus of gods and goddesses that started in the morning and winded through the city roads, ending in the afternoon. But shockingly, among the tableau was also one which glorified murderer Shambhulal Regar and talked about Love Jihad. It has now been brought to the notice of the city administration, who say they are inquiring into the matter and will take action. With cameraman Shamshu Zoha in Jodhpur, Harsha Kumari Singh, NDTV.
Well, joining us on the program this evening, well-known human rights activist Harsh Mandar, who has, of course, travelled to Rajasthan in the past with some very serious consequences for what happened after the Alwar lynching, among other things. Senior journalist Rana Ayub here in the studio with us. Raghav Avasthi of the RSS, Nilanjan Mukhopadhyay, senior journalist and author, still with us, and Pawan Verma of the JDU also joining us tonight. Harsh Mandar, when you see this, what do you say to something like this? How does something like this happen? And then you see this man standing with his axe or whatever he was holding, saying that he thought that Shambhulal Regar is a great Hindu. What is the atmosphere? What is the context that is allowing this to be normalized in a sense?
I went about 3 or 4 days after the murder to the town where this happened. And for the first time, I decided that we'll also visit the home of Shambhulal Regar, the killer. We've been visiting families of the victims, but I thought, let us try to understand. I went there, we met his other 2 brothers. He belongs to a low Dalit caste. They made good. He was unemployed, and they say for the last year... Low caste? Yeah, I said he was from
low caste. Yeah, that's okay. What you're saying.
Yeah. Can he finish his point?
Yeah. Excuse me? Sorry.
Sorry, sir.
Yeah.
So, and for the last one year, they say, after he lost his livelihood because of after demonetization, he was obsessively watching hate videos which have been created by the Sangh Parivar. There's a lot of it online, and he used to watch this. And then he thought he'd done a heroic act. He'd got his nephew to film it, a 14-year-old boy. His hand was completely steady. He had sort of got him into this. And the idea that this is an act of heroism, that this is a defense of the Hindu faith, I think reflects a much larger. It is a hate crime of the most extreme nature. But I want to say that this is happening because there is an atmosphere which has legitimized hate. And it comes right from the top, and we've got an atmosphere in this country where hate has become so normal that people are acting out on hate which was there in their hearts but which has got normalized, and therefore somebody like Shambhulal Regar is seen as a hero.
Raghav, what did you find funny in that? I mean, I saw you smiling.
I didn't find anything funny.
I'm sure that even you can't justify the glorification of a murderer.
No, I'm not justifying the glorification of the murderer. So, I believe in the rule of law, and I don't believe in selective application of the rule of law. Like, I mean, quite a few of my friends do here. Wait, let me complete. You'll have to let me complete.
No,
the fact of the matter is, the fact of the matter is,
I'm deliberately saying, because as a matter of fact, let me put it on in this debate. Even earlier on, you have deliberately interrupted. I am also deliberately interrupting, just to say that this is not called for.
What is not called for?
Don't interrupt when others are speaking.
Yes, so let me complete now.
So I just interrupted only to tell you that you should not also.
The fact of the matter is that this is obviously a vigilante incident, but love jihad is a very serious problem. The nomenclature might be unfortunate. The nomenclature, as a matter of fact, comes from a judgment passed by the Kerala High Court. It's Shahanshah versus State of Kerala.
Right away. I find that very problematic.
I'm not giving any context. All that I'm saying is, if it's a serious social problem which has been flagged by a constitutional court, then in order to prevent vigilante incidents, which should be met with the severest punishment in my opinion, in order to prevent such incidents recurring in the future, there should be a law which should be framed, is all that I am saying. This is it, and I can quote.
Can you just answer on Harsh Mandar's point that people have become emboldened to do these kind of things because they feel that there is a legitimacy that they're getting from the state to do them?
That is his conjecture. Where is the legitimacy? That Mr. Regar has been arrested and he will be tried. So where is it? I don't understand these causal connections that Mr. Manda keeps drawing, and people of his ilk.
Why should this tableau have been allowed then by the local administration in the first place?
Is that the people like Mr. Manda,
why should this tableau have been allowed?
I'm really sorry to say, I read his column in the Indian Express also the other day. The fact of the matter is that they want to stoke a sense of Muslim victimhood because they want the Hindus and the Muslims to remain divided, and they also want to make sure that the Muslims live within their ghettos. That is why he is such a strong proponent of Muslim women wearing burqas and remaining in their
Muslims
ghettos.
being lynched has just been made up, is it? I mean, what has happened in Rajasthan, the lynchings, the killings for beef, Akhlaq, Junaid.
It's not as if India was some sort of, land of milk and honey where minority and majority used to live in peace. It's not as if this is something that can be linked to Mr. Modi. It's a country of 120 crore people. So there will be incidents every now and then, and they should be met with the severest punishment. And this is something that I'm at pains to emphasize.
Rana wants to come.
I'm just trying to listen to him. I mean, how does a normal person listen to this and kind of digest this? I mean, the least Raghav could have started his discussion was to say, I condemn this. This should not have happened in a democratic country. No, you tried to create a parallel with what a love jihad bogie is doing, which has not been established. Are you talking about that they are not receiving any kind of support? Yes, a union minister went in to cover the body of Akhlaq's murderer. That is called support by the government. This is happening. These people who are doing this, who are carrying tableaus of this is accused, are doing this because they know Vasundhara Raje Scindia is not keen to do anything about this. Yesterday, this is Ram Navami, right? We're talking about Ram Navami. In West Bengal, BJP guarders are on the field carrying trichuls and weapons, and allegedly there has been a Maulana Azad statue which has been destroyed yesterday. Where is this?
What has it got to do with Ram?
Exactly. Where is Ram in all this? And why are you talking about
Sangh Parivar in all of this? I don't understand.
Well, these are BJP workers who have done this.
How can you say that? What's the basis of this statement? Please tell me what the basis of this statement is. It
cannot
be as unconfirmed as your Gujarat files, ma'am. I'm extremely sorry.
According to
One second.
I have also read your book as a matter of fact, so you also have to listen to me. I'm heavily outnumbered.
One second. Can we have a conversation here? Because we're trying to.
I know how to read.
1 second, Raghav. Let her finish. Let's try to have a conversation here because I think it's very, very disturbing that I think we should all be disturbed as Indians that this can be allowed to happen. And I think the point is, let me ask Pawan Verma about this, because Pawan Verma, you're an ally of the BJP, okay? And you haven't minced your words. You've spoken out when you have felt that something is wrong, that you know, you had to speak out about it. But how do you sleep at night knowing that the state is just looking the other way? That Vasundhara Raje doesn't have time to even speak on the killings that happen in her state and something like this. Really, are you able to sleep at night?
Even Sachin Pilot didn't speak anything, didn't say
I'm
anything.
coming to the Congress thing, but he's not the Chief Minister of Rajasthan. Remember who looks at Rajasthan's law and order? Mr. Verma.
Nidhi, I will take a minute only, and I'd be grateful if we can have a sane discussion without interruption. I would like to take your permission, of course, to speak as an Indian citizen and a representative of a political party, but I want to speak today as a Hindu. I am a proud Hindu. I am a student of Hinduism. And in many ways, I am against the appeasement of minorities only because they are vote banks. But I want to ask all Hindus today on your channel, who has the right to devalue my religion? It is one of the greatest religions of the world. The killer's name is Shambhu. The Shambhu stands for Shiva. Adi Shankaracharya said, Na me raga dvesha, na me moha loba, mado neva me neva matsarya bhava. I am not full of rag and dvesh. This killing was not for nyay. This killing was not for self-defense. This was a gruesome, heinous, dastardly, absolutely cruel and premeditated murder without cause or provocation. A person is hacked to death and while still alive, burnt and allowed to be filmed. And it is done in the name of my religion, of which I am so proud. Therefore, I ask this question today because there are bigger questions involved with this. As a Hindu, I ask this question. Am I to be judged today by the fanatical elements of my own religion who are self-anointed guardians of my religion? Or am I to be judged by the great legacy of which I am heir, of which Hinduism is? And where will this fanatical Hinduism take us? How is it that Shambhunath Regar from jail continues to spew communal venom and speak about the creation of a Ram Rajya? How dare he talk about Maryada Purushottam Ram after this crime? And how is it that you today valorize him in the name of my religion, Hinduism? Valorizing or taking out a tableau in his name. Every Hindu must understand that the real battle tomorrow will be between the Kattarpanthi Hindu who demeans, devalues and reduces to a nullity the great legacy of Hinduism, and the enlightened and Udarvadi Hindu. And the time has come to take a stand on these issues.
I think that's been very
I will take a stand on this issue as an Indian citizen. I will take a stand on it as the National General Secretary of the JDU. And I will take a stand on this as a proud Hindu.
Raghav?
Yeah, so I completely agree with Mr. Verma, except for the fact that, like he said very clearly, that appeasement is something that he should not counter. He does not countenance. So in light of his statement, I feel that since love jihad or Romeo jihad, I think it's an unfortunate nomenclature, since it's such a serious social problem, then in order to prevent such vigilante incidents,
love jihad is the creation of the Sangh Parivar.
Not at all. It is something that has been flagged by the Kerala High Court. Can I read out the judgment?
No, one second. How does a guy like this, one second, how does a guy like this, exactly as Pawan Verma pointed out, spew hate from jail? How does a tableau go out, eulogizing a murderer like this? I'm asking you a simple question, that the state of Rajasthan is allowing this to happen. It has created an atmosphere where it has allowed hate to simmer and very openly. It's as simple as that. There is no context, no love jihad nonsense, nothing that can justify what is happening in Rajasthan and elsewhere.
I don't speak for the state of Rajasthan, I speak for the RSS, and in my capacity as somebody who's speaking for the RSS, I am just saying that love jihad is something that has been flagged by the Kerala High Court, not at the behest of the Hindu community.
No, because you're digressing. This is not a debate about the false notion of love jihad. Nilanjan, I just want to say, no, before I come to that, I was also very disappointed because when we did this show, the Congress party said we don't want to talk about this. And now this has become a pattern that as the principal opposition party in this country, it too doesn't want to talk about these issues because they feel that this is polarization that in the end will benefit the BJP. So, but these are issues that, my God, it should bother everybody's conscience. It's not about polarization. Every one of us should be bothered by it.
You know, what we are seeing is something very unfortunate through the course of this debate. You know, it's a very horizontal debate. But the point is that how do we ensure that we deflect away from this horizontal debate? So, by creating several, verticals. You create a vertical that what is love jihad, what is the etymology of love jihad, where does it really start? Basically, the way I look at it, there have been, we have talked about the Sangh Parivar, so I am using the word Sangh Parivar. There have been two sets of icons, one that who can be publicly adopted as their own and publicized. The others who are slightly uncomfortable icons who cannot really be done because it is against law, it violates the moral ethics of the country. This Shambhu Regar is one of these icons who cannot really be co-opted. It's like another Nathuram Godse. Now, let me go back to 2014, right after Mr.
But
Modi
even
becomes…
Godse has been normalized.
No, that's what I'm saying. That the first thing which happened within a month was that a demonstration was taken out that a Godse temple is going to be built somewhere in Meerut. There were several other processions. So, all that was allowed by the government and by the ruling party to go on. So, you ended up creating a situation where Godse becomes a different kind of a narrative than what it has been, the way it should be treated by somebody who was murdered, who was dutifully charged, and then the court found him guilty and he was executed.
History,
The point is that you have to, for your own, to create some kind of a balance, to mobilize what is called reverse polarization has been a strategy which has been done, is that you mobilize the Hindus, you depend on 100% of the 80%. That is the basic electoral strategy. Unfortunately, what is happening in this country is that we are not looking at this nation in a long term. We are not looking at the fact that in 2050,
in short-term gains,
we are going to be the country with the largest number of Muslims in the world.
So rightly,
how
do these people represent Hindus? The other problem, Harshmander, is, and this is a big one in Rajasthan in particular, is the fact that justice has been so slow to move in those cases where, I mean, for instance, you had the Alwar lynching, Pehlu Khan's case, and you saw the way things so quickly unraveled. The state is not even willing to act here. I mean, come on, they didn't do us a favor by arresting Regar because it was all on video. What do you do? But the point is, in other cases, everything's fallen apart. Look at what's happening with the Junaid case. As well.
Not just in Junaid and not just in Pehlu Khan. In fact, we've been traveling around the country. I found that there's a pattern. And the lynching happens, it is videographed, it is then propagated, and almost every lynching has been videographed. And you find that the police's immediate action is actually to register cases mostly against the victim. So that has happened in Pehlu Khan's case. It's exactly 1 year. And we're visiting the family of Pehlu Khan. The livelihoods of milk farmers who are Muslim has got destroyed, and justice is withheld. I just want to say one more thing. The silence of even so-called secular parties like the Congress about this makes an assumption, and this is not an assumption about Muslims, this is an assumption about Hindus. And there's an assumption that every Hindu is communalized. And I think it's a huge disservice to Hindus in India. A large majority of them are not supporters of the RSS. They are supporters of the
RSS are communalized.
Are highly communalized. I mean,
it's a defamatory statement, sir. It can be, you can be dragged to court for this.
Please do so. I request you. The RSS on its website still says
Open Magazine apologized.
The RSS on the website says it believes in a Hindu Rashtra, and it is therefore a communalized party. It has a whole set of anti-Muslim feelings, and the majority of Hindus do not believe in this. And if parties think that they are going to anger the Hindus by speaking for justice, this is the party of Mahatma Gandhi. I think it's
really unfortunate that there are people like Mr. Mander who have made a career out of stoking Muslim victimhood, and now they want to also ensure, I read his article, he wants to ensure that Muslim women remain in burqas. The point, I want to ask him a very pointed question, which is that if, since he is such a proponent of communal harmony, if he has visited the families of those cadres who have been killed by communist goons in Kerala, whether he visited, yes it does, because people like him stoke Muslim victimhood and they are trying to obfuscate the truth.
For me, there's no
truth is that Romeo jihad is a very serious social problem.
I'm not going to
I'm
not getting into the love jihad argument.
This is the fact of the matter.
As much as
Harsh Mandar has a quick word and then Arana.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I am with anyone who's a victim. I'm one of.
Has he been to Kerala? Ask him. Has he visited any of the Bush families? Please tell me.
Let me answer. Kerala killing by the CPM is a political murder. But I have, for instance, Ankit Saksena's family, where Ankit Saxena was killed by his Muslim a Muslim family of the girl he loved. I have been one of their closest supporters.
The Delhi case
in the Delhi case it is. I don't have to give you any clarifications. I'm in the side of anyone.
You have to give clarification to the people of the country. They're questioning your credentials.
Some people are welcome to question my credentials. I mean, I am on the side of anyone who suffers from hate violence.
So there are RSS members who are being killed. Would you speak out on their behalf?
Actually, as much as I should be outraged about what Raghav is saying, actually I don't. I don't blame him also because he's here as the spokesperson of the BJP and RSS, and that's his mandate to speak here and represent. My problem is with two sets of people, one in the BJP, which is the ruling party, and the leaders on one hand who have maintained a complete silence, whether it is Vasundhara Raje Scindia or leaders in Assam or UP, and the other hand we have the Congress party. Now, of course, there's only a group of people. Every time there's a lynching, every time there's such a heinous act, there is one group of people on social media, one group of academics, one group of intellectuals. Only these people are supposed to speak. Why aren't the others not speaking? Pawan Verma made a very valid statement. It's not a Muslim issue. It's about the Hindu issue. The image of the Hindu community is being tarnished by people like Raghav Avasthi who believe that this is the version of Hinduism which is right. I'm sorry.
You think, no, I'm sorry, sir.
Thank you, sir.
No, I feel that the image of Muslims is being tarnished by terror apologists like Rana.
No personal attacks. Please, no personal attacks. Please.
And I think a bigger responsibility also lies with the Congress, which allegedly calls itself a secular party, but as an opposition party, the Congress has really let down people of this country, whether it is Gujarat, where it has remained absolutely mum when there's a lynching happened during the Gujarat election, or right now with the Congress, where the party does not have a stated position on anything.
Well, I'm out of time here. I'm out of time here, but I just think that all of us as citizens, and Mr. Verma, 30 seconds. I give you the last 30 seconds.
Yes, I just want to say, I am against Muslim fanaticism, but I am also against Hindu fanaticism. And I want to say particularly about Hinduism, which is my religion. This is the religion which says, Ekam Satya, Vipraha Bahuda Vadanti.
Islam doesn't agree. Doctrinally, does Islam agree with this?
And therefore, if the BJP and the RSS and the Sangh organization wishes to propagate, project and propagate Hinduism, let us, for God's sake, propagate that Hinduism with which all Hindus identify with pride, rather than valorize this kind of gruesome murder in the name of Hinduism. That's my plea.
Yeah, and I think once again,
we've had enough of it now.
Well articulated by you, and again, I'm sure. I don't know why Nitish Kumar thought this was a good idea, and given your views, Pawan Verma, it's good that at least you're speaking out on the issues that matter. It's good that you're at least speaking out on the issues that matter. Absolutely. So glad you're at least that you're doing that.
Even most recently.
All right, have to leave it at there tonight. Thank you to all of you for joining us on this program. We will be back tomorrow night. See you then.